South Carolina football fans coming off a butt kicking at Fayetteville. You can't run the ball. You can't defend the run. You got two key defensive starters out. Are we going to ask you to be hopeful about anything facing number one Georgia? You're at home. We'll throw that at you. We got Chris Phillips on the line, the Spurs Up Show and the Daily Crow. Catch him right there. Chris, how you doing today?
Mark, appreciate you having me on, man. Always a pleasure to chat with you. And yeah, it was a tough one in Fayetteville, and the SEC grind is here, man. You know, there's nowhere to hide when you got deficiencies and issues, and certainly the Gamecocks figured that out the hard way, right? We were worried about the line of scrimmage offensively and defensively, and for what it's worth, I thought the offensive line actually played better. But, you know, the defensive front I thought was the story of the game. And give Arkansas credit, big physical offensive line and defensive line. I think they're going to be a team in the SEC West that, who knows, maybe could challenge Alabama. Obviously, I don't think we're looking at Texas A&M as that team anymore that could challenge the Crimson Tide. So Arkansas, a really high-quality football team. But again, Mark, as you know, when you get into SEC play, your deficiencies, you can't run from them. You've got to face them head on, and that's exactly what the Gamecocks are doing. And we knew this early slate, this early portion of the schedule with Georgia State, Arkansas, and Georgia, that it was going to be really tough because, again, for South Carolina, their biggest question mark, in my opinion, was the physicality up front. And the first three teams they play, that's what their focus is, and that's what they pride themselves on. So it'll be more the same this weekend against the Bulldogs. Again, like you mentioned, you got them at home. It's a noon start at Willie B. Huge recruiting weekend for South Carolina as well. But, yeah, tough task for sure upcoming this weekend.
No Jordan Strachan, not just for this game, but coming off the edge the entire season. Mo Kaba, same deal with him, out for the entire season. Two huge defensive losses right there.
Yeah, no, for sure. It hurts. It hurts. Strawn's a guy that I actually picked to be your leading sack getter this season, the transfer from Georgia State. You know, obviously was on the roster last year. Big physical dude, though, really athletic off the edge. And again, I thought he was primed for a really big year this year. Mo Kaba as well. Same thing at the linebacker position, a guy who'd been on campus a few years. And you know, you felt like a highly regarded prospect. You felt like this was going to be, again, his breakout year as well. So it's a next man up mentality. But, I mean, certainly, man, it's a defense that was already struggling to stop the run, and you lose two key guys like that. And now at linebacker, you know, you might see a guy like a Stone Blanton, a freshman. Obviously, Sherrod Green's going to have to fill in and play a lot more. Debo Williams, Brad Johnson. But, I mean, outside of that, Mark, you know, we talked in the preseason, the linebacker position was already battling depth issues, depth issues, and up front of the defensive line as well. You know, that was something they had struggled with. So, you know, again, it doesn't get any easier. You know, I think, thankfully, you know, after you play Georgia, the matchups might become a little bit more favorable in regards to just who you face, and the offensive lines, you know, you're going up against not being as daunting. But, yeah, it's two huge losses, and it's just, you know, injuries. A lot of injuries are just bad luck, and those two guys, heck, I think it was on the same play. They got hurt, tore their ACLs. So, you just wish them a speedy recovery. You know, unfortunately for Strawn, I think it's actually the end of his college football career because I think this was like his 6th season. So you just hate to see it. I mean, you hate to see it no matter if a guy's got another year left or whatever. I think Kaba will bounce back, obviously, and come back. But you just hate to see it. I mean, it's tough, and this defense has got to find a way to, again, next man up. Clayton White's got his hands full, and again, certainly with the Georgia Bulldogs coming to town, which I just look at Georgia. You know, I thought Arkansas was just a better version of what Georgia State was, and Georgia is a way better version than what those two teams are, right? So, again, it was already going to be a tough task. Now you're down those two guys. It's going to take a Herculean effort for sure.